Hi, my name is Hui En. As we all know now, with the COVID-19 outbreak taking over the news for the past year and the never-ending cases of COVID-positive patients in Malaysia, workplaces and businesses have undoubtedly been affected tremendously as well. However, we also know that there is currently no law or statutory provisions that mandates vaccination in our country. And most of these cases and clusters are all derived from workplaces. In fact, there were 115 workplace clusters found, with over 5,000 cases reported in the month of May itself. Hence, we're here to find out whether employers can make vaccination compulsory for their employees, especially with most businesses operating again. But before we get into that, there is one very simple question to get over with first. The question that we all should know before we get into anything else is whether employees, regardless of their obligations, can refuse to be vaccinated in the first place. The answer to this is fairly simple. Yes, they can. And as mentioned earlier, there is no law that makes vaccination mandatory in Malaysia. And it is important for us to note that before a person is an employee, they are a human first. In common law, all competent adults can consent to or refuse medical treatment. And since vaccination is considered a medical treatment, it is right to say that they are free to refuse it. In other words, everyone has the rights of autonomy and fundamental liberties for themselves. People who refuse vaccinations could have their own many different concerns for doing so as well. Those reasons could range from religious beliefs, safety concerns due to pre-existing medical conditions, and even concerns with the efficacy of the vaccine itself. Therefore, it is right to say that as of right now, with the current laws in place, Malaysians have the right to refuse to be vaccinated as citizens of the nation. However, consequences of such refusal at their workplace would be an entirely different story. Just as employees have the right to refuse, employers have their own rights to impose actions to be taken as safety measures too. Thus, while employees have the right to choose whether or not they should be vaccinated, their freedom of choice does not mean the freedom from consequences. Moreover, according to the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, Section 24, subsection 1, it is stated that employees generally have the duty to take reasonable care for the safety and health of himself and of others who may be affected by his acts at work. So it brings us to wonder, how far does this apply to vaccination? Even in the Factories and Machinery Act 1967, Section 20, subsection 1, it is stated that workers in factories have the duty to make use of the means to secure safety, health, and welfare of all persons employed. So what measures can be taken against employees who refuse vaccinations by their employers? What is the balance between freedom of choice and the obligation to provide a safe working environment? Are these obligations under the responsibilities of the employees or the employers? Although it was simple to say that employees can choose to not be vaccinated, it is indeed not as easy to say whether their possibly consequential refusal would be worth it, and whether such consequences would be considered as leaving them with no choice. So many questions leaving everyone wondering more and more. But fret not, my friends from our legal research team will be answering such questions and make it as clear as possible soon enough.
Now, I should send the next email. Dear Jason, should employers leave the choice to be vaccinated entirely in the hands of the employees?